Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Bakers and Small Business Talkspace podcast, where I get to sit with guests, which include bakers and people who are running small business. We hope to get an insight into their personal journey of running the business, the challenges that they may have encountered in running their businesses, and the strategies that they may have employed in running their business. We talk about everything that has to do with baking, running a small business, or taking your small business into the next height. The aim really is to inspire someone in this economy of South Africa, where unemployment is very high. Someone who is sitting at their corner with the talent, not knowing what to do, or someone who's already running their own businesses, but they feel like it's not moving, it's not going anywhere. In this podcast, we hope to inspire everyone. So if you are new in this podcast, please subscribe, like, comment, and share. And if you have already subscribed, you guys are my star. Thank you very much. My name is Chiro Kangare, and I'm the brain behind Exquisite Deluxe Cake. Joining us in studio today, it's BakedbyKhensi. I know her as Kensy. Kensy, welcome to my podcast.
Thank you for having me.
How did you find it your way to get here?
Well, I thought I was lost for a second, but when I got in, I was like, wow, this is so beautiful. So yes, I navigated, I found it.
I couldn't wait for you to arrive.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay. Kensy, there's nothing much really. I just need to get an insight into who Kensy is, not your personal life mostly, but business-wise, because I know you as a baker and I know you as an entrepreneur. Yes. But before the Kensy, the baker, Kensy, the entrepreneur, who is the lady behind?
Behind everything.
Behind everything.
Wow, okay. Everybody knows me as Khensi, but I prefer going by Nhlalala, which is my other name.
Oh.
So yeah, I'm from Polokwane. I was born and bred that side. And yeah, I just love hustling, I guess. This entrepreneur thing is my thing. So that's just me in a nutshell. I'm single.
Oh, available?
Don't have kids.
Single and available or just single?
No, I'm not available, but I'm single.
Okay.
But yeah, in a nutshell, I'm just Khensi, simple girl from Polokwane. I'm Tsonga. Yeah, but yeah.
When you said you're from Polokwane and you're Khensi, I'm thinking, I was going to think you're from Giyani, Nkoa, wherever.
No, I'm from Westernburg. It's a colored community. Yeah, it's next to Seshego in Polokwane. So a lot of people, when I say I'm from Polokwane, they feel like, no, aren't you from Giyani, Kamalamulele?
I'm not the only
I've
one.
never even been there.
Okay.
But yeah, maybe I have relatives there, but I haven't been there, so I wouldn't know. But yeah.
Okay, we're going to talk about two things. We're going to talk about Kensy the baker and then Kensy the entrepreneur. But let's start with Kensy the baker. How did that passion come up?
Yeah, so okay, what happened was my little sister made a cake for her friend. It was her birthday. She made a cake. And then after I saw it, I was like, oh, what girl? A business. Plus, we have a background here baking. So my mother had a baking business. So that's what put us through school or whatever. And then I was like, no, we're doing a business. So at work, while I was working, sometimes the project will be done or whatever. So I would just watch YouTube videos of how to make cakes, how to bake, how to assemble it, because I just know how to make scones and biscuits. That's my thing. So a cake, I don't really know, but after she made that cake, I was like, oh, what girl, we are onto something. We need to do something. So I went online, checked how to frost. I bought myself things. I bought cake pans, whatever. Like, no, I'm doing this. So it was so I was working for this other company as a hydrologist, a junior hydrologist. And then the lady, the barrister at the company was like, Khensi, since you can bake, why don't you make muffins and then I'll sell them here at work? And I was like, oh, okay, I didn't see it as a big deal, you know? So I made the muffins and then she was selling them and it was okay. I think, and then COVID hit. After COVID hit, My boss sent me an email, no, Khensi. Oh, even before that, I made my colleague a cake. It was his birthday. And then he was like, okay, I made the cake and we had it like our tea break, whatever, as a whole company. So while we were having that cake, my boss was like, how I can see this cake. I've never had something like this. If you take this baking seriously, you're going to go far in life. You're right. And at that time, I was like, I'm still learning. It's not even a business. But Kenyako, I wanted to be a business one day, but I was still shaky. Sharp. Then COVID hit. Our company was struggling a bit. But I never thought that would have the situation I was put in. So my boss was like, she's going to have to let me go because naka baker, and I never even told her. And according to my employment contract, it says if you have a business, you need to declare. Then I was like, but I never thought it was conflict of interest. And it's not even a full-blown business yet. I'm still learning. That's why I bring things to work and whatever for people to taste. No, girl wasn't having it. She was like, no, I'm giving you two options. It's either you finish ekhwedi fela or we extend your contract by 2 months who monitor or are you doing your work or not. And I'm just asking myself, what do you mean? Because I bake at home, I don't even bake at work. So how is that even conflict of interest? But Kanuja Moyo, she suspended me because I refused to choose her two options, ending the contract or ending it after 2 months to see if I'm improving with my job. I refused both options, and then she went to disciplinary hearing. I lost the case, of course, because the chair or whatever for that was her friend. So I was like, you know what, I'm taking you guys to CCMA. Mm-hmm. So that's when Khensi started, like the business started, because I won the case, go CCMA. I got 4 months salary just chilling at home. So that money plus my little pension that I got from the job, I used it to start my business. So I bought everything that I needed. And then, yeah, basically that is my story in a nutshell, how we started. So that's the Baked by Khensi. So the Supplied by Khensi started because at the end of the year when I was filing for SARS, they charged me too much, got that money, the CCMA. So they gave me money back and it was a lot of money. So I was like, I need to find a plan. And people are always asking me, Khensi, where did you buy this? Where did you buy that? So I would refer or no, I bought it this here and here and here and here. But I was like, most I could actually cash in. So I was like, no ways, this money that I got, since I don't know what to do with it, might as well just start a supply store. So I started at home selling online. And the next thing I'm just like, you know what, let me get out of the house because I want to provide more. I want to sell more. I feel like being at home, I can't sell as much as I want. And since in the CBD at Pretoria, there's no supply store. And for me, I always had to go to Lanewood to buy things. Now, I can just buy it in town. And what about everybody else around from townships and wherever? They can just come there because it's a taxi away. So that's just basically how everything happened.
And the baking business is growing because everyone wants to be a baker. So
that is the thing. So my business model, I don't know if I should share that.
You should.
But for me, I felt like, especially now, I feel like in 5 years to come, every household will have a baker. Yes, I'll still be Baked by Khensi, but I feel like with the supply store, it would be more sustainable because where are they going to buy those things? From my supply store. So that is just how the model is. I know that even though in 5 years to come, Baked by Khensi might be, I don't know, would it still exist? I'm not sure. But I know for a fact that a baker will always need supplies. Definitely. And where are they going to buy it? From me. So
and you know, bakers, we are hoarders. We buy things even if we don't need them.
Exactly. So I'm always going to cash in one way or another.
So if you were to choose between being a baker and Baked by Khensi, if you have to choose one, what would it be?
Between?
Baked by Khensi
and Supplied
by Khensi.
I would choose Supplied by Khensi. You know why? There isn't much admin involved. With Baked by Khensi, the cake designs make me go mad. Like, I know like some of it comes naturally, but that's why I kind of sometimes limit the amount of work that I can take in, because I want my cakes to be perfect. So in order for them to be perfect, I can't do 10 cakes in one day. I need to limit the amount of work that I do, so that when you see the cake, you're like, yeah, this person took their time making it, because it's just perfect. So yeah, the baking is a bit stressful. The supply store is, because there's people that are doing everything there, I just oversee things, so it's a bit relaxed. But with the caking, I need to think and strategize and say, okay, it looks better. Sometimes even if the cake is not to my standards, I have to start it again, because I can't. Like, if I don't open the fridge more than 2 times watching how beautiful it is, I can't give it to a client. So I'll have to start again. I need to be happy with the cake first before I give it to a client.
Start again is in scraping the butter.
I'll scrape it off, or this design is not coming together. I'll call my sister a video call. Girl, what do you think of this cake? Then she'll be like, but it's pretty. Why are you just overthinking things? Girl, no, but I feel like the vision that I wanted for this cake is not coming the way I wanted. And she's like, then what are you gonna do? And then when I tell her, she's like, nah, man, you're overthinking it. And when I post it and it gets like top likes, and I didn't even like it, my sister liked it, and she's just like, you're just an overthinker. I think you're more of a perfectionist more than anything.
I think so too.
Yeah, so that is just me.
Okay, before we continue, I just want us to give credit to this person who baked the first cake and inspired you. Is she in the baking industry? Is she running a business? If you've got the handles, whatever, because she's in Polokwane, you are here. Let's just give her the credit.
Yes, it's my little sister. Her name is Dinyeko, and she's called Cake Pretty.
Cake Pretty.
Yeah, she has a boutique, baking boutique of Savannah. So she sells cakes and stuff. She also does wedding cakes, birthday cakes, you name it. But at the boutique, they usually make like slices, scones, cupcakes, those kind of things. But people do collect cakes from the boutique as well, maybe for convenience. But yeah, you can check her out. Cake Pretty, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, what else? Even
Shout
on
out
Google.
to her.
Shout out to her.
Now we've got an entrepreneur and a baker. So back to Baked by Khensi and Baked by Khensi and Supplied by Khensi. What inspires those two names?
Well, the Supplied by Khensi, I wanted to call it Khensi's baking boutique. It's crazy, but my sister was like, no, since you are Baked by Khensi, I just decided to say Baked by Khensi.
So your sister is very much involved in your business?
Yeah, she helps me with a lot of things. She was like, no, Mara, if you Baked by Khensi, the supply store, also supplied by Khensi. I'm like, I never thought of that. Just like, your name is there, most, and it will show.
So your name is a brand.
Yeah, your name is a brand. And I was like, oh, okay, then she's the one that came up with it. I can't even take credit. She's the one that came up with it. So that's how we ran with it. Baked by Khensi, I was just like seeing baked by everywhere. And I was like, Khensi, so might as well. But the supplied one, she takes full credit. And after the supplied by, people started doing supplied by what. It became a thing. But honestly, she's the one that came up with it. I can't take credit for that.
So Khensi, as we mentioned earlier, that in the next 5 years or so, every household will have a baker. So what makes you or your business unique?
Okay, I personally feel like, in terms of, there's the supply store and the baking store. So must I talk about both?
Both separately.
Okay, with the baking, I feel like when you see a cake posted online, without even looking who posted it, you can already see that it was made by Khensi, because I strive for perfection. All my cakes, you can see, this person made an effort, like they sat down and thought about this. And they produced quality work. Not only does it even look great, it tastes amazing. So with my business, before I even started with my baking, I made sure before I even started decorating and becoming the perfectionist in decoration, I had to start from inside. Because what's the use of having a beautiful cake if it tastes terrible?
So true.
So yes, perfection. With me, you always know, but when you're getting value for whatever you paid. So even when you see, like every time, if I make a cake and a client doesn't get excited after getting it, did I really make that cake? No worries. They need to be excited. If they're not excited, that's a problem for me. So in terms of Supplied by Khensi, what makes me unique? There's a lot of baking stores. There's a lot of supply stores that have emerged ever since I opened Supplied by Khensi. And yes, it's good. There's enough cake for everybody. But what makes us unique is that we don't sell what everybody else is selling.
True.
What you get there from the packaging, I'm the only one, for as far as I know, in Pretoria that sells color meal. It's a good brand, expensive. I know there's a lot of oil-based colors emerging, but I still feel like color meal is the brand to reckon with. It's a force. So I sell quality things, quality ingredients, quality packaging, everything. Yes, the Chinese might sell it, but they don't even sell the exact same thing that I sell. So uniqueness, it's things that you can't easily find everywhere else. So that's what sets me apart in my business. And I'm in my own lane. I don't compete with other people. I'm focused on my business and how I can get my vision out there. And that's what sets me apart and makes me unique.
So, Khensi, what are the main aim of starting a business is to make profits. But not everything has to do with profit, I get.
Yes.
So how do you measure success?
Well, for me, I feel like I'm providing convenience for people. A lot of bakers come to my shop to buy things. So I'm helping their business indirectly by providing a service for them. And we ship nationwide. So we can help everybody in South Africa.
So it's not South Africa, Gauteng, fela.
It's not like I'm focusing on people that are in Pretoria only, but everybody else. And I recently got an import/export license. So I'm thinking of moving to other countries, like shipping there, because I've had people from Swaziland, Botswana, Namibia, Malawi, all the African countries. They've been contacting me, Khensi, would like to buy from you, but how can we do it because you don't ship to our country? And I'm like, no, I'm busy working on it so that I can actually help everybody else. So for me, it's the convenience. And I know every time I see a cake and someone tags me and they're like, no, I got this from Supply by Khensi. I'm like, even though I didn't even make the cake, I'm not even concerned of whether someone bought from me or not. But my hand is there. Something of mine is in that cake, and that makes me happy. And I feel like that is success for me.
When your cakes are in everybody's home mostly.
Literally, when I see a cake, I know Khensi's there. My touch is there somewhere, even though I didn't make it.
Boxy,
it can be a box, a little butterfly, a fork,
a sprinkler, a food
cake
coloring
board, So I'm just like, I know I'm involved somehow,
you
and
go,
that
girl.
makes me happy.
You're just a legend in the making.
I'm a superhero.
You mentioned something, Huri. Now you're going to supply in the neighboring country. And I know that Supplied by Khensi, it's moving. I think we also need to touch that it's moving where it is now to a bigger. Why are you laughing? To a bigger space. So that means the business is indeed growing. Anything that you want to share that has to do with the new premises?
Sometimes you underestimate God. So I'm just going to minister a bit. So when I started from home and then I decided to open the shop. Everybody was against me opening it, especially my family, because they are safe people. They don't like risks. They were like, no, Khensi, I can't set you patla rent mo. So sharp, you're getting another rent, paying people, and it's going to be too much. And I'm like, you know what? I'm young. I can afford the risk. If it doesn't work out, it's fine.
And you mentioned you're single, you don't have a kid.
Yeah. If it doesn't work out, it's fine. I'll go back to the drawing board and find a way. But what if it works out? So when I got my lease for the current place we were renting, I got it for 6 months because I wasn't sure whether it will work out. But we're almost going to a year now, and we decided, you know what, we are moving. So we're moving to a bigger store. We'll be baking there as well. We'll be teaching people, because people come to the store and be like, Hunter, why don't you have classes? You make such beautiful cakes. Your cakes are delicious. Can't you teach us how to bake? So yeah, but I've been more most of the clients were very excited when I told them what guys we're moving. They're like, yeah, we hope you're moving to a bigger space, you know, and stuff, because you have so much potential. But some were negative and were like, how? Look like a rent. And I'm just like, guys, you even saying it to my face. And I'm just like,
in your face, literally.
To think that the rent, my new place is 4 times the rent that I'm currently paying, and I still have to employ other people, then that shows how the business is growing. But if people want to believe that, then you allow them to believe it. I don't need to convince you.
But then how do you feel if somebody says, it's a bit negative and it's a bit draining? Oh, like rent.
But if you know who you are and you know where you're going, such statements don't do anything out to you. Just laugh about it. Oh, okay, they're thinking that, but they don't know what God has planned for my life. I don't know, or maybe tomorrow supplied by Khensi or something, but I know that when I had that, God was with me, and even if I don't have it, God will still be with me.
Amen.
He planted that seed in my mind for a reason. There's a reason why I had to lose my job and open this and do this and that. It's just grace, and it's just God working through me to help other people, because I feel like but well job or Mamilo, Attridgeville, Social, wherever, they come to our store. People come, it's a central place. So it's convenient for them and it's helping them. So that is, for me, at least I'm helping people indirectly. You get what I mean? So, and that for me, like you said when you were asking me about the success question, is success for me. Yes.
So the new premises is still in town as well?
It's still in town. It's on Sophie de Bruin. It's underneath Russell's place. Sophie de Bruin and Church. So it's... Sophie de Bruin was called Schubert in the past. So it's that street. Yeah.
I have no idea. I get lost every time I go to Victoria.
But on Google, we'll update our address on Google to show the new store where it is exactly.
Okay. So when you are doing a business, you start maybe by baking for friends, like you started by baking for colleagues, then you have to expand it outside that and everything. What has been the biggest marketing strategy that you have used or that worked for you and your business?
Well, I would like to say people played a huge role, because when someone tastes your work and it's so delicious, they just tag you on social media and recommend you and give people your number. So people will be out there, guys, have you had cakes from this person? Do you know this
person? Word of mouth is powerful.
You know, word of mouth is very powerful, but social media is powerful. I feel like if Instagram were to shut down, where would we be? TikTok, where would we be? Like, social media is powerful, guys. I don't want to lie. Because you post something, a big thing, and then all of a sudden it's a trending thing and everybody wants to do it. I recently did a cake. It was a life-size Barbie cake. It was a 3-tier, but the 3-tier was like this big, like a Barbie doll. I think after 2 days, someone else did the same cake. And then I was just like, and then clients started saying, Khensi, we want that doll cake. So it started becoming a big thing. But because I posted it online, if we didn't have things like social media, how were people going to know or you're doing these things, or, you know? So social media is...
So when you're posting on TikTok, on social media, have you ever had negative comments? And then if you did, how did you deal with it?
Okay, I've had 2 experiences. So the first one, I posted, from now on, if you want a formal invoice or need to discuss a design or anything, I'm charging you 100 Rand. And that 100 Rand, I'm going to subtract it from the final cake cost.
Yeah.
I posted that. My account blew up. Everybody was commenting. I even had to turn off the comments. They're like, I'm crazy. How can I charge people for asking how much? You know, I feel like personally, people just like saying how much. A cake is not a pair of shoes where you like, how much are these shoes? No, it's a process. So I'm not going to be wasting my time drawing you a cake, giving you ideas for a cake, only for you to not even buy that cake. So if you are coming to me, you better be sure sure what you're going to be buying because I don't have time for that, honestly. So I came up with a rule, if you want a cake from me, an invoice that I must write for you or draw something for you, you pay me 100 Rand first, which I will deduct once you order your cake and then you can pay the balance later. I got negative comments. This person is crazy. This is the devil's work. Bakers were discussing me everywhere. You know, it was a big thing. Like, guys, I don't even know what to do. People were fuming, some people, and after I did that, people that want to buy from me paid it. That same day when I implemented it, people were even paying it before they even talked to me. They misunderstood it. And now, a year later, after that whole thing that happened, even now I don't do invoices. If you want a cake, umpatla 50% first. Bampatela and then koromela invoice, and it's working for me. Like, people that come to me, they come prepared. They don't have problems. So a situation I had, I posted a small little cake. It was a 4-inch hot cake, and I was like, 4-inch, yes. Okay. I was like, new product alert, budget treat. This is 300 Rand. Someone commented, or how did you come up with this cost? So let's, on TikTok. I don't really like TikTok because the people there, but yeah. So it's like, just explain to me how you came to this cost. I was like,
so you have to explain, got
150. Go explain why nake charge charging, and then I was like, thank you for your interest in our pricing, but we don't share that information because what the hell do you mean? What do you want from me? Like, do you want to buy it or not? Why do you want to know what? Okay, the butter is 100 Rand, the what is what, so this is the cost. No, how can you ask that? I just personally feel like people, because you are a black-owned business, they just take advantage. Because trust me, I'm not being racist or anything, but if it was a white company or whatever, they wouldn't even ask that question. But because I'm a black woman, they're questioning my pricing. No.
And they don't know the quality
because
of your product.
I can't be using butter for that, even though it's small, but I use vanilla bean paste. I use Swiss. I use butter. I take my time making that thing. It doesn't mean if it's small, it's worth 50 Rand. No. It's small, but the same process I take to make a big cake, it's the same. Because I still cling wrap the cakes. I still bake it with quality ingredients. I still take time to make it. So if you're asking me that question, then why are you really asking me that question?
In the process of mixing a butter for a small cake,
it's the same.
It's exactly the same.
Like, there's no difference. It's just that the reason why I introduced it, it was cute, and a baker friend of mine is doing it in Durban. It's just like, Kensi, do this. People have been asking me, but I was like, because it's a bespoke and a premium thing. It's not something you can Pick and Pay or somewhere where career. So what are you expecting to pay? My grandmother always says, when I tell her, people are complaining about my cakes or they're expensive. No, my grandmother always says, she's like, I can about 4 nos, about 8 cake, let Pick and Pay by the cake. Why was I Pick and Pay? Look how it's a cake at 300. She says that all the time. She asked that question, what about 4 nos? About 8 cake, let Pick and Pay. She would go and say all these supermarkets.
I feel like people confuse cake with a whole lot of other things. Like, I made an example lately on social media where I said a cake is not a rice by size dress, where if you are smaller, they will say the dress is 300 Rand, and if you are a little bit bigger, they'll say the dress is 350, but the same design, whatever. Or a haircut. If you go there with your son, and they say, okay, for kids we cut 50 Rand. For an adult, it's 70 Rand because now your head is bigger or whatever. The cake, they more or less go through the same process. Actually, the smaller it is, the more hard it is to work on it, and the more expensive it is. The bigger it is, then the cheaper. But it will take a process for them to understand that.
Yeah.
And then I also understand when you say you charge 100 Rand for giving the price. One, there are other bakers who don't know how to do pricing, so they fish around, going to other bakers to find out how much they normally charge, so that they can also do their own pricing, which is the wrong way of doing it. Two, people are just asking just to gauge and calculate and see how much more or less you're making or whatever, or they're just asking for fun. It is actually tiring. So
Invoicing is a lot of work. No, my issue is that on my catalog, I have the prices of the cakes I've made. So you're already seeing the prices. Unyaka invoice, kudurala invoice, it's an abundant invoice. Now, when I make invoices, I know for a fact this person is paying me to do this, so I'm not wasting my time. So my issue is wasting my time writing an invoice that is not gonna be fulfilled, or no, thanks for the invoice, I'm still going to ask my husband. No, you should have asked your husband way before coming to me. So that is not gonna cut it with me. So if you're coming to me for me to render a service for you, you must already know or Khensani ke di price tja gona je, and catalog e bontsha di price ka moka, so sa nyakang o should okay, her cakes start round about this amount, so this is the kind of money that I should expect to pay. So why are you doing that? Like, why are you wasting my time? You get what I mean? For me, it has been something that was saving my time. And since I implemented that, I don't have unfulfilled invoices. Because you paid, so you're gonna just go through with it. And most of the people, they come to me, but sure, or no, I want a cake from Keny. It's not like a chance taker.
Okay, so I'm starting to feel sad now because we're almost at the end of the conversation and I'm enjoying your journey. So I just want us to look into helping someone who is now sitting at their own corner. They want to start, but they don't know how. And then, when you start, you feel like I need to have fancy equipment, collect all the tools or anything. So for someone who wants to start, but they're saying, I don't have even a single tool, I don't have anything, what advice would you give them in terms of the basic machine or oven or whatever you can get? Is this and this and this and that, and this is what you look for, whatever?
Okay, I think you just need a home oven can work if you want to start baking. So you can just use your home oven, but just get a thermometer to measure the heat, because with baking, maybe the oven, even if it's 180 degrees, but it might not be 180 degrees. So if you just get a thermometer to make sure that the temperature is quite right for baking, that is very important, because if the temperature is not right, then it affects the texture of the cake, because the cake will end up being too dry. So I think for me, the most important thing I got was a thermometer. I got a turntable, that cheap one, 100 rand, I got a scraper. Those were the 3 tools that I literally needed to make sure that I can make a cake. And it's the 3 tools that I cannot even survive without. A scraper is more important for me. Turntable, some people don't even use them. I wonder how, but for me, it's very important to have. So I'd say those 3 tools apart from ingredients. So for me, because and a spatula, and a electric mixer, like a hand mixer, because now while you're still starting, you can't really afford a stand mixer. So I used like an electric mixer for like 2 years, and it was working for me. It was perfect. Like I never had a problem. The only reason I moved to a stand mixer is because I started using making Swiss. So with Swiss, come on, you can't, honestly. When are you going to finish? So yeah, I think those are the important. But if you're working with fondant, then you'd need a smoother, and you need a smoother for the fondant. You need a rolling pin and a mat, and a blade to cut. But yeah, it depends on what you are doing. But I would recommend, while you're still starting, start with buttercream, see how it treats you, because fondant is another thing. Like, it's a lot of work. So yeah.
So when you're talking about the fondant and the butter, the Swiss meringue and everything, when you are starting, there is Swiss meringue, buttercream, fondant, ganache, whatever. So as a new person, to make sure that you don't overwhelm yourself, and then you don't find yourself a master of none, because you're just doing everything. What would you advise a new baker to start with?
I would recommend buttercream, honestly, because ganache has its own problems. It cracks it cracks, guys. Yo, you would be done with a cake on a show. In the morning when you open the fridge, there's a crack in between the cake
And a big
in
one.
front. I just make it a design. I come up with plans because once it cracks, it doesn't really expand. So it depends where the crack is. If it's at the back, then yeah, I can fix it. But if it's in front, that's how some of my designs come to be. Like if I have a problem, I work with that problem. That's why I cannot replicate other people's work. I don't do exactly cakes because sometimes I face problems that I'm just like, God, this thing is not working. So like recently I had a cake, I think I did it last week. She chose 2 flavors, and those flavors, like my chocolate is ridiculously moist. So it messes with the ganache, it swells it a bit. So I came up with a way of making a rough textured cake because it was for a man and it worked out. But before I wanted it to be smooth. But I was like, since it's for a man, and she just said, do you go? I was like, let me do this. And she was so happy. So sometimes when you limit a baker to do exactly this, it works against them sometimes when things don't go according to plan. That's how most designs come to be.
I'm interested to the word exactly. I think exactly is a word that frustrates bakers. Most bakers don't respond well to the word exactly. But as a beginner, when you are starting, you feel like when a customer sends an order with a picture, your job is to replicate that picture, which end up discouraging you or not taking the whole of your day trying to perfection something that is not even yours. How do you respond to the person or an order when they said, I want this cake exactly as it is?
Before I even answer that question, as a beginner, when I was a baker, I used to do exactly.
Okay.
But it frustrated me because I once had a complaint from a client, exactly, and I gave her whatever. So what happened was she wanted this other color and I couldn't find that color. And I called her and communicated with her and told her, I'm having problems with this. So I'm going to make the same cake, but with a different color, but that matches whatever you want. She agreed. That's when she started complaining, or no, I wanted a green cake, when you made this white cake, yada, yada, yada. That's when I saw exactly the problem. And my sister, she was like, you know what, Khensani, order a cake. Because before, what we used to do, if someone orders a cake, maybe a Spider-Man or whatever, would look for a picture that shows what you would present to a client. Then she was like, just cut that and just do what you think is best. So in terms of the exactly question you're talking about, for me, if a client comes to me and says, Khensani, I got this exact cake, I lose interest because now you're channeling my mind to that picture. I don't know the person's thought process to get to that design. It might have been a mistake, like I previously mentioned, or maybe a cake has a crack in the middle and you just made a design out of it. It might have been she was shorting this and substituted with this, and maybe this cake had a dent here, and because of that dent she made that design. But when I'm making it, I don't have those problems. So how do I replicate that kind of work? So exactly turns a lot of bakers off. I am so fortunate and blessed that clients, when they come to me, they trust what I do and they just say, Khensani, this is my theme. This is what I was thinking. Just do whatever you think is best. This is my budget. So based on how much you're willing to pay, I will make something based on that. So exactly, it turns bakers off. I would tell all clients, guys, if you want to get the best out of your client, out of your baker, never say exactly, because that, it even shuts your mind off because you can't think, you are focused on that. And I've had exactly that I've made in the past year, but I've never posted them because they were not my style and they were not me. Usually the cakes that I post on social media, it's things that I decided for myself. It's my free reign cakes. If it's not free reign, I'll never post it because no. Exactly for someone, so exactly. So I don't do that.
I feel like what clients don't understand is that the cake that we make, it's an art. And an art depends on a lot of things. For instance, you're talking about ganache cracking. fondant can also have elephant skin, can also crack. Besides, the humidity, the weather also affects the type of art that we do. So it could be the cake was done when it was rainy, fondant was so wet and slippery or whatever, then we came up with a way to hide that. But on the other day that I'm doing the cake, it's in winter, everything is going smoothly, no cracks, fondant is going, so everything looks so perfect, so clean. And I don't want to hide anything. I just want that perfection to be seen. Whereas the other one, I wanted to hide because there was no perfection that me as an artist, I could say I'm happy with, or it's fine, it's perfect, whatever. And even if the cake was previously done by me, does not necessarily mean I'll be able to replicate it. It also depends on my mood, how I'm feeling today. Maybe I was too happy, too excited, or also the things that I had. It could be I was doing someone else's cake, I had flowers, which were in season then, I had extra chocolate, I had extra balls, and when you gave me free range, and I'm like, I can throw everything in here. And sometimes the colors, it's like you just said, can I have a cake? You didn't give me the color and everything. So when I'm finished with all the cake, I had a little bit of pink butter icing, a little bit of green, and I mix all those. A beautiful color comes out that I don't even remember what did I mix. I have no idea.
You made it months ago and someone wants it.
Or even 2 years ago, you come back, you said, I want this cake exactly as it is. I know it was a couple of colors in there, and those colors, it was from other cakes, which I just put together to make that cake. So exactly limit people's creativity. What we do is creativity. So when you say it exactly, that means I need to, if the flower was on the left-hand side, because on the original cake, the left-hand side had a crack or had something else.
Yeah.
But with mine, the crack is on the right, on the other side, so that I must move. It's like the cake board as well. People don't understand that sometimes you put that ribbon if you're making a tier when the two tiers are not combining together. But if mine is so perfect, why should I hide it? Why should I put a ribbon for what?
Everything that is on the cake is there for a reason.
Yes.
So they don't understand that.
I hope someone who is starting a business, someone who is new, learns this thing that whenever they receive a request of exactly, they must find a way to address this question to a customer in a way that the customer understands. And any last thing that you can advise this new baker or this new person who wants to start a business?
I think you need to practice patience, especially with clients. Find a way to communicate with them properly because, first of all, let me tell you this, they do not want to read. They will ignore your welcome message and just say hi to you. They want a cake. They don't provide information. They don't say anything. So if you don't have patience, you won't be able to survive because now you need to do follow-up questions. Well, the question is already there, but you still have to ask them. So I personally feel like this business requires a lot of patience in that component because at the end of the day, the client is the most important thing because without them, you're nothing. Like, okay, if velo deradicate, but you must be able to communicate with those people. So if there's a communication barrier or communication problem, then what's the point of your business? And if you cannot communicate with people, get someone else to do it on your behalf, which is something I've been doing, which is working for me because I feel like I'm too busy with a lot of things. If you just say hi to me, I'm not going to respond to you. Honestly speaking, I have over 500 likes, but at least now, highs, but at least now I have someone that responds to them. Or, hi, can you kindly provide the information for us to coach you because we've already told you what we need to coach you, but you're not providing that. So once you provide that, then we will be able to assist you. But yeah, even though that person is doing that, it's still not working. So I don't know. Sometimes people are not serious about buying from you, and that's okay. The people that are serious will see the process through to completion. So patience is very important. Because as people, we are not the same. Some are also busy to read that thing. They just want a cake, but they can't relay the message. You know? So it's just, patience.
Patience. I thought I was the only one who received hi, and that's it. The following day, I sent you a WhatsApp, you haven't responded. I'm like, but your WhatsApp was just hi. I thought you were greeting the business.
Funny. Yeah, but honestly speaking,
No, I get a lot of hi. So
Yeah.
hi to me, okay, you're greeting me. So it's a business, so you're greeting the business, not me. So I know if I have the energy, sometimes we're drained, we're tired, we don't have time to respond to hi. There are serious questions or serious WhatsApp that has just come in, they need response. And and the highs are the ones that are trouble one. They will send 3 highs, like hi, there's an automated message. You ignore it, hi again, there's an automated message. You ignore it, hi again, and then they call you.
But do you know what we did? Because applied by Kensy, our automated message is, "Hi, welcome to Supplied by Kensy. How can we assist you?" But they still say hi and keep quiet and not say anything, and then call or respond. They'll call me. They're like, "No, the people are rude. They don't respond." How can we help you? You don't even respond. What are the poor people supposed to do? Make their life easy. Tell them what you need. We have a website that has like 90% of the questions that people ask us is already there. How many days does it take to ship? Do you ship to wherever? What are you selling? Do you have this? What is the cost of this? It's all on the website, but people don't want to go there. Instead, they're like, can't you do me an invoice? I mean, I pay the website every month, and then Sancho get like go to like invoice for Ntoke Patlang every month. That is unfair on me, you know. I have that platform in place for my convenience and your convenience. Because if you want to buy something at midnight and I'm sleeping, am I supposed to wake up and do an invoice for you, or can you just buy in the morning, we ship and you receive your parcel? So those are some of the things that you will struggle with, honestly.
So, Kens, what are some of the key lessons you have learned in your entrepreneurial journey that maybe you would have to share with someone?
Okay, tricky. I think.
No.
So I feel like in a business, you need to be determined. Like if you have a vision or a plan for your brand or your business, you need to be determined to see it to completion. So the key lessons I learned from this whole thing, you need to be very hardworking and sometimes you need to be involved in everything because you can't. If you want things to go according to the way you want them to be, you need to oversee everything. You can't just say, I'm a boss, so I'm not going to be repackaging things or doing this. You need to be able to adapt to whatever you're doing. So that is number one. Number two, sometimes, for example, I bake. I recently stopped working and I decided to focus on my job, on my baking business full time. The reason why I decided to do that, I felt like the energy that I'm giving my job, I could give it to my business and help it grow, because I felt like it was lacking in that department. So sometimes when you're doing something, maybe focus on one thing at a time to make sure that that thing is done to perfection. Maybe one day I'll go back to working as a hydrologist because now my business is afloat and everything is running by itself and it doesn't involve my involvement. It doesn't require much more of my involvement. But sometimes when you're doing everything all at once, it doesn't work out. It actually becomes a recipe for disaster. So you need to focus on that thing, see it to completion, and then hop to something else, you know. And then another thing, I'm Christian and I believe in God and everything. Ne? So I feel like involving God in your plans, like you should start with prayer, everything, because sometimes some situations you cannot solve by yourself. So one thing that my business has helped me with, it has strengthened my relationship with God, because every time I'm facing a challenge, every time things are not going my way, I just ask God, I know this is happening, but I know it's happening for my greater good. And out of this situation, I know good will come. Even though it's a bad situation, it's okay. I'm going to learn something from it. So I would suggest, if you are a religious person or you're a Christian, believe in God, put Him in your plans, so that even when things don't go your way, you know you have some way and someone to go to and pray and say, you know what, God, I'm facing this problem. And another thing, your friends, your circle, people around you, just be wary of that. Some people want you to succeed, some don't want you to succeed, and what they say and whatever affects how you in a way because they're people close to you, how you conduct yourself or how you run your business. So for me, my friendship circle is a peanut. I think I only have one friend. And then my sister is my friend. So she's always helping me business-wise, and my friend is very supportive of my business. So the people around you can make or break you. So you must just be wary of that. And in terms of the supply store, I remember when I started, other supply stores started to emerge. And at first, my heart was broken. Or how couldn't these people think of it by themselves? Why do they have to do whatever I'm doing? But I then remembered, for me, God planted a seed in my mind for this. So it's more than a calling than anything else. And there's something that makes me unique. And even though other businesses emerged, there's something that makes them unique and will keep them forever in their business. And that also applies to me. Another thing is that you need to find your own style. Doesn't mean if someone is making robots, jadi cake, someone is making beds, chairs, whatever, you need to do that. That is not your style. That is not your brand. Find something that works for you and run with it. For me, even if I've had clients being at parties or wherever, they see a cake, they like, oh, Kens. That cake it like no way. And I'm like, what's the cake? How did it look like? And then she shows me, I'm like, oh yeah, I did that. So people already know my style and the types of cakes that I make. If someone asks me for a novelty cake, I'm like, no, I don't make novelty cakes, but I know bakers that do novelty cakes. Then I'll refer you to them. So find your style, decide from the get-go, or what am I going to do? Is this what am I going to be a jack of all trades, do everything? Or am I going to focus on a certain thing, fail? And then you take it from there.
Wow. Thank you, Khensi. I really enjoyed listening to you. I feel like I can just sit here and listen to you for the whole day. But unfortunately, I've come to the end of this episode. But before we do that, I am sure there's someone listening who wants to order something from Supplied by Khensi or want to order a cake from Baked by Khensi.
Go.
Oh.
Premium stuff.
So if you can please let them know where to find you, if you're on social media, the social media platform that you use, and the handle or the name that you use.
Okay, for supply store, it's supplied by _Khensi, and we are on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram for the cakes. Baked by Khensi also on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. We also on Google. So if you just Google Baked by Khensi or Supplied by Khensi, we actually use the same website. You can just go there if you want to buy supplies. You can buy there, and we are working on a project of allowing people to buy cakes online. So watch out for that. So you can just buy like a bucket of scones or a mini cake or whatever, add it to your cart, pay for it, and check the available dates. Buy it, so it's going to be convenient. So we'll let you know once we launch that. But anyway, thanks for having me. I truly appreciate it. It was such an honor. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you, Thank you, Khensi. I really, really enjoyed it. And thank you for honoring this. It's not easy when you're starting something new and then you invite people to come and sit with you on the couch and share their journey in the interest of helping someone, and they are grateful. So for me, it's also an honor.
Thank
Thank
you so
you very much. Thank you guys for tuning in. So stay tuned for our next episode when we get to invite another baker or an entrepreneur. They get to sit in our couch and they get to listen to their stories, get inspired. In the meantime, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and utshela nabangani bakho nabo baze balalele le channel ukuthi kwenzakalani. Maybe they will be inspired. Ndikhona ngaNkonisawo.